Hi, I'm Tom with Learn PDR Online, and in today's video we're just going to show you 3 quick ways to give you more leverage when pushing dents, so stay tuned. So recently, one of my members in the Learn PDR Online membership asked a brilliant question about leverage, and it was really understanding the best ways to get leverage. As you know, if you start pushing or you've been doing it for a little while, it can take a bit of a toll on the body. So really kind of putting a force into it, it can, after a while, if you're not doing it correctly, play havoc on your body. So I myself have struggled with the occasional shoulder injury or elbow in this forearm, just from kind of constantly pushing dents and not always being able to get the best leverage and the best body posture when removing dents. So it gave us a chance to discuss it and go through some different methods, and I wanted to share this advice with you guys here on YouTube, just to give you these 3 different ways, quick fire ways to really make sure you can improve your leverage, which is going to give you more accuracy with your repairs, but most importantly in this scenario, it's just going to take that pressure off your body and let the tools do the work so that your arms, shoulders, back and body is under a lot less strain when pushing. This will keep you working as a PDR tech for many years to come. So the first way is probably the most obvious one, and that is if you're using an S-hook and ring like we use in the basic skills training course, or a tool like this, a hanger tool. This one's from Edgy Tools. You hook it into your hole, and you've got your bar and your leverage. So when you're pushing dents, you're obviously leaving down on one arm and pushing up the tip onto the underside of a dent. The most obvious, if you can, is to just try those different leverage points. So usually we want to go somewhere in the middle, just to keep it nice and even and easy to control. But you'll find if you're pitting it up this end, it's going to be harder to push down and get the same amount of force than if you're up at this end and pushing down and getting that kind of force. Generally with leverage we are looking for that sweet spot in the middle, but number one is just to have a little play around with your leverage point there with the bar that we're using. So that's number one. The second tip is to have a block. Now for years I just used a piece of wood, but recently at the TDN open day, thank you TDM, I picked up this PDR leverage block. This is £23 plus the VAT, so just shy of £30, but it's quite good. Well, it's very good because you've got the ridges in it. So coming up close, you've got a number of different ways you can use it and really kind of get a bit more stability in there with the block. But if you're levering off a panel, for example, on the inside of a wing or rear wing panel, and you're levering off or even off a tyre coming in underneath a wing, just by adding a block in there, you're going to give yourself a much better levering point. So you've got the access there, and having this to lever off, it just opens up that and really takes the pressure off your arm as well. So number 2 is get yourself a block like this leverage block, and it's really going to open up that leverage for you. Also, this is a number 2.5. This with a bar like this, just a very basic bar. It's quite good being able to bend them. So I do it quite a lot with this particular bar. It's not always possible with all of them, but by being able to put a bend in it, that's going to be quite similar to using a block. And yeah, by giving you that, you've instantly given yourself a lot more leverage in terms of the force being able to be applied and get to that underneath of the dent. And number 3 for getting better leverage, if you're using a bar with like the screw tips, I forget where this one's from, but just your standard kind of tips. This one's got a double bend. Usually we would have a tip in the end for doing our dent repair. So giving us just a standard tip, whichever tip you choose for the repair that you're doing. But simply by adding an extension, so there's a various different lengths of these you can get, but by popping that in there, or maybe perhaps another extension as well, and then putting your tip into the end of the extensions. Now obviously you can add as many of these as you need to. It's not always easy to, once you put that extra length on there, getting access into certain tools and things like that, into certain holes, sorry. But by having that extension on there, you're effectively doing a similar process as bending that bar in number 2 or 2.5. And yeah, it just opens up that gap to give you a little more leverage on there. So that's it, 3 fairly simple, straightforward ways to create more leverage when pushing dent repair. For more tips and advice and training tutorials, you can visit us at learnpdronline.com, and you can subscribe to the monthly membership. Each month we go through training tutorials and give new advice and new techniques to help you learn paintless dent removal. So check us out online, come and say hi, and you can join the community of like-minded techs just learning the basics and really starting to progress in their PDR career. So that's it for today's video, just 3 quick tips on leverage points and how just to give you some better leverage. I hope you found that useful. As always, if you have, you can give us the thumbs up, click the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. And I'm Tom with Learn PDR Online. Thank you for watching.